Torah guardian, speaking the absolute truth. Torah nation.
Shalom, 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 Yasharal and Yahuda. Listen, get in this water. Get in this water. Accept this atonement. Be born again of the Ruach HaKodesh. Get in the water. Get in the water. Listen, 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 listen. Get in the water. I got all out of sync. Listen, Yahuwah is waking up his people. He's bringing us an understanding of who we are historically. There is a plethora of information, so much statistical proof, recorded observations that points to the people of Yahuwah. The scriptures confirm prophetically who the people of Yahuwah are, the people that have been robbed and spoiled. You better get in this water. You better come by way of the door. You better come to the good shepherd. Listen, man of Yah, woman of Yah, we're listening to none other than Hezekiah. Again, you know I love this prophet. This song is entitled This Hour. And it has 144 on there. Listen, I don't own the rights to this music. You better hear the word of this prophet. Listen, don't just sing the words. You better hear the word of the prophet. Hallelujah. Yahweh, in the name of Yahusha Mashiach, you declared that from my belly shall flow rivers of living water. Of this she spake of the Ruach HaKodesh, that I would receive. Yahuwah, I have received your Ruach HaKodesh. I have come by way of the water and the blood. I received the atonement of Yahushua HaMashiach's blood sprinkled on the altar and on the mercy seat in the tabernacle in the Shamayim, where you received his offering and was pleased and made available to me because of the sanctification attached to the blood, the Ruach HaKodesh. Yahuwah, I give you praise. I give you praise, Yahuwah. I take the reins of my lips and the reins of my tongue and reign. Yahuwah, don't allow me to cause anyone to stumble, anyone to be turned out of the way, anyone to come up lame. Yahuwah, I'm in this for you, Yahuwah. I'm in this to be a lamp unto your feet. I'm in this to be a light unto their pathway. Yahuwah, I'm in this for the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach. Yahuwah, I'm in this for the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach. Yahuwah, I'm praying that you would allow the word to be a lamp unto their feet, a light unto their pathways. That your word would establish in them an emunah in this witness that would bring a confidence and a surety of their salvation, that they would have received or would receive the earnest of their inheritance. Yahweh, in the name of Yahusha Mashiach, that they understand they got to come by the way of the door. They have to receive Yahushua HaMashiach. They have to receive Yahushua HaMashiach in order to enter in. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua Mashiach, the words of my mouth, meditation of my heart, may it be acceptable in thy sight, Yahuwah, my strength and my redeemer. Listen, man of Yah, woman of Yah, hear the word of Yahuwah. You got to come through the door. You got to come to Yahuwah by the door. You, in order to receive Yahuwah's Yeshua, you have to come by the way of the door. You have to identify Yahusha as your kinsman redeemer. You have to recognize that it was the shedding of his blood, the Lamb of Yahuwah, that taketh away the sins of the world. You must believe what he said, that you got to be born again of the water and of the Ruach HaKodesh. This is Hebraic. This is culture. This is what Yahuwah has been doing in the nation of Yasharal from the beginning until he completes it in the end. You better get in this water. You better get born again of the water in the Ruach HaKodesh. You better get in this water. You better understand that you got to come by the door. The only way you will enter into Yahuwah's kingdom is by coming through the door. And make no mistake about it. Again, this is Hezekiah. Songs are tired of this hour 144 on righteousness music. Listen, you have to understand, right, that you got to come by way of water. You have to receive the witness. Yahuwah told me to cry loud and to spare not, to lift up my voice like a trump in Zion. I do not care how redundant it may appear. Listen, and people begin to understand what you declare in the witness of Yahusha. And they understand what you're going to say, so they take a step away. Right? They haven't moved forward in it. They haven't received the truth of it. Right? But they understand, they think they understand that what you're saying is something they already know. Right? And if that's the case for you, take this Torah that you know and put it to use. Take this word that you know is a Torah. It is a prophetic word from you. See, the thing is, I have to cry loud. I have to spare not. That means I have to not make a decision to hold back no matter who I'm dealing with. Everybody gets this. You who is no respecter of person, everybody get this. Listen. You have to understand that this word is necessary, and this truth is necessary, and this witness, right? This witness, the Ruach HaKodesh, the water and the blood, is necessary for you in order to be the witness that Yahuwah has called you to be. Look, listen, Yahusha didn't let the disciples go until they had the complete witness. Yeah, until they were established in this witness. They had to have the Ruach HaKodesh. Listen, I did a message over a year ago, right? Did a message over a year ago about being born of water and of the blood of Yahusha, right? Is not enough. What do you mean that's not enough? It's not enough. Right? Because you said you got to be born of the water and the Ruach HaKodesh. So if you're born of the water and of the blood, it's not enough. Well, somebody would argue, well, if I'm born of the blood, then I'm going to receive the Ruach HaKodesh. Not necessarily. Yahushua said he give it to as many of those that ask. It's a gift. right? Right? Look, even when Peter dealt with the Gentiles, they received the Ruach HaKodesh. They had positioned themselves, and they were asking Yahuwah to bless them. Yahuwah said, Peter. Peter came with a word. The word led to them receiving the Ruach HaKodesh, and he didn't even get the whole word out. They didn't even get baptized. This how turned on they was to Mashiach. Listen. You got to come this way. You have to come this way. You can't come any other way. Right? You got to come by the way of the door. Right? If you enter in by any other way, you are a thief and a robber. Saying that you in the family of Yahuwah. You Hebrew. You in the family of Yahuwah. Yahuwah's people. Not until you come under this atonement. See, Yahuwah's relationship with us was personal, but it was collective. Right? We as a people were called. Right? But we as individuals had to obey. You know, when Yahuwah delivered the children of Israel, right, out of Mitzrayim, came out of mixed multitude, right, million folk come out of Mitzrayim. Yahuwah delivered them. Right? Everybody that was in Mitzrayim that escaped, that was of the nation, that had their blood on the doorposts, they came out. And then you had people who lost people, understood the power of this El, and they came out. Because everything in this Mitzrayim that was not under an atonement, they lost firstborn. And you got to understand that there was people in the midst of them, right, that lost people. But they was like, oh no, this Yahuwah Eluah that defied all the Els of Mitzrayim and wiped out the priest of Mitzrayim, yeah, we got to go with that. Right? The nation. Right? But the nation had to understand, individuals had to understand that there was a relationship that they had to have. It wasn't just enough to be a part of a group. You had to have this obedience to Torah as individuals. Now, Yahuwah dealt with us as a nation, right? But Yahuwah also delivered individuals. Yahusha came to his own. His own received him not. Them bruised. Those Yahudiym. Those 12 tribe Israelites. Right? Didn't receive him. Right? But as many as did, those individuals, that remnant to them, he gave power. He didn't empower everybody in Jerusalem. That's obvious because they were destroyed. The temple was destroyed. People were destroyed. People, women were eating their kids. I mean, it was mayhem. Hebrews. Yeah, they were Yahuwah's people, but you know, they didn't receive Yahusha. They didn't come by the door. Because you know, Yahusha was talking to these wicked Pharisees in John, the 10th chapter, right? The ones that came in any other way but through the door. these wicked Pharisees, this Herodian king, right? They came in through another door. They thieves and robbers. They didn't come by way of Mashiach. Right? They didn't come by way of the Torah made flesh. They came in by a Talmudic, agnostic approach to. So they didn't even come in the right way. But they got in and, they became the head Negroes in charge of the priest Negroes. These wicked, diabolical, Esau's ancestors. They didn't come by the way of the door. Right? But then you got Bruce. That was under their leadership. See, because they was robbing and stealing from the sheep. They the one who should have to be the king of Yahuda. Because that means they would lose their seat. They would lose their power. They would lose their position. Right? Pharisees and the Sadducees and these religious leaders, that was a spawn after the Babylonian captivity. There was actually after the Greek captivity. There was no Esau Edomites in charge of anything in Yasharal. They were thieves and robbers. They didn't have a legitimacy. And they know if Yahusha's kingdom would come, that's why Herod had to wipe them out. Had to try to get to the kids that were a certain age so that he could hope to shut down this whole Mashiach king coming, as if he could defy Yahuwah. You know, he could fight. Listen, right? When the Pharaoh decided to kill the Hebrews in Mitzrayim, he did it because, look, we was multiplied, man. We was baby producing people, right? And he feared that one day these people may rise up and take the sides of his enemies and wage war against them. So they had to come up with a plan to put them in bondage. They had to use some of their own people, right, and bring them into subjection. Right? But this Edomite king, this Herod, right, he understood that, he's trying to stop the Mashiach's birth. He's trying to stop the birth of the king of the Yahudiym. He's trying to shut it down, right? Trying to shut it down. He wanted to kill everybody. Firstborns. He wanted to kill the firstborns. Don't give me these kids. There's talking about Jews coming in. Yahudiym, these priests, these kings traveling to see the birth of this king of Yasharal. These wise men, they supposed to come back and tell me where he at. They didn't. So we gotta kill them all. We gotta kill them the minute we can get a certain age. See, because he wanted a seat that was not his. He came in as a robber. He assimilated, forced to adopt, right? This Judaism. Came king over the Jews. here's this door that appeared. This door to the kingdom. They asking him, listen, what do you mean you are the Son of Elohiym? He was the door to the kingdom. See, they was expecting something, physical. And there's a physical kingdom coming. Oh, yeah. And Yahusha is the predecessor. His appearance was that which preceded the kingdom. It's coming before. The physical manifestation of the kingdom of Yahuwah after the gathering of his people. And the establishing of a place and a territory where he's going to reveal the kingdom. It's going to be gates. And we who have been in this witness, we who have come by the way of water, blood, and Ruach HaKodesh, not just water, not just blood, but water, blood, and Ruach HaKodesh, because see, these three witnesses are one. The witness would not be complete with just the water and the blood. The witness would not be complete without the water and the blood. The witness must have Yahuwah's Ruach, which establishes you as his. See, listen. Without Yahuwah's Ruach HaKodesh, you just a clean individual. Swept clean. And without the Ruach HaKodesh, it's a matter of time before Adonai comes in. He comes back. Because there's no Ruach power that establishes you as yours. You just got swept clean. Without the power to keep you. You just got water cleansed, sins forgiven. But you need his Ruach to make you his. That's why he says it in Ezekiel, I'm going to put my Ruach in you. And you're going to keep my laws and my statutes because I'm going to put my Ruach HaKodesh in you. Listen! Hear the word of Yahuwah. You must be born again of the water and of the Ruach HaKodesh. The blood atonement is a necessity that you have to have because there is no other way to get an atonement. Yahusha is that priest. And he is that lamb. There is no other method of atonement. But you got to have that Ruach HaKodesh. You got to have that Ruach HaKodesh. You got to have that seal. You got to come by the door. You got to come through the door. See, so we dealt with Yahusha, right? We dealt with Yahusha. Dealing with these wicked Edomites, these thieves that have come into this Judaism, this Torah keeping that are thieves and robbers. Ashkenaz is a thief and a robber. They have done just like Herod did. They did just like the Pharisees did. They politicized the nation. They exercised their authority. They have become wealthy, rich, because they're thieves and robbers. Their gain is gotten by wicked treachery, schemes. What they do, they destroy it. They made every attempt to hide you, to pull you into their whoredom, so that would render you powerless, draw you into their elitist Illuminatis, your Masons, your Elks, and all these other lodges, your Theta Bay Alpha Kappas, pull you into their educational systems and indoctrinate. And they bring you under rites and ceremonies, and you surrender your will to them for wealth, influence, prestige. You get out of jail free card. And depending how much you're willing to sacrifice, they move you up the ladder. But the end is still death and eternal destruction and burnings and torment. That's what they've done. They who say they are Yahudiym and not, and do lie. He is going to make this synagogue of Hasatan, who are expressing that they have received their Mashiach. You're going to make them bow. See, because when we turn after gaining understanding of who we are, we recognize that we were wretches, just like our forefathers were wretches. That's why we ended up in this position. And the only way to get out of this position is not just have civil rights rallies and march around arenas, holding up pickle signs and saying that we want rights and Black Lives Matter. Now, see, what we gonna do is we gonna be his people because we repent. We repent for our sins and sins of our forefathers. We get in that water, clean ourselves off, go down and come up anew. And even now we're going to receive the atonement blood that Yahusha has shed, recognizing that he is a high priest that was able to satisfy the need of priesthood and to satisfy the need of a sacrifice because he was that lamb. See, you understand this, the value. Then you're going to learn in this process that, you have to ask Yahuwah for his Ruach HaKodesh, and he going to freely give it to you, but you got to desire this thing. And when you do, Yahuwah will seal you, give you his Ruach HaKodesh. The earnest, the down payment, you'll be his. Love now with the sons of you. Because we've received this Ruach. sons and daughters. Because you've come by the way of the door. You don't listen to the thieves and the robbers. You don't listen to the Pope. You don't listen to the Hasitan. You don't listen to the Pope. You don't listen to Ashkenaz. You don't listen to Honor Elijahs and Islam. What's that guy? The Kabbalah stone, walking around a stone. You don't listen to that. You don't hear that. You don't hear that. You don't hear Christmas. You don't hear Easter. You don't hear that. You don't hear that. You don't hear this Christianity, this Jesus, earth pig religion. You don't hear that. You don't hear Baal. Call it a Baal. You don't hear that. See, because you've come into this quickening. Yeah, this quickening. This quickening of Yahuwah's Ruach. Right? Set you apart from them. And you don't have no fellowship with them. You can't go in there, football arenas, and celebrate. You can't be going to the Knicks games and cheering. These people serve their hell. Ashkenaz owns this. Listen. He is going to make money off of you no matter what. He's going to make money off you. Because you people make money. You people spend money. You people spend money you don't have. Trying to get some product. Some Balenciaga. That witch of a... Listen, man, I'm telling you, this is what these devils do. See, you got to come out from among them. 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 You got to come out from among them and be ye separate. Listen, man of Yah woman, you got to come out from among them. Because you don't hear their voice. Now, if you still hearing their voice and going to the beat of their voice, you need to go back before Yahuwah. And you need to reassess whether or not you are in Him. Right? Listen, I understand there's some things that we do because we don't have a knowledge of it. Right? And until we gain a knowledge of it, right, and we can understand the correlation between this wickedness, right? But the Ruach HaKodesh does that. Ruach HaKodesh does that. But listen, right, when I was first, when I first was in this witness, right? Well, actually, when I became aware of me being Hebrew, right? Because I always understood the witness. I mean, let me say this right. You will give me the words to say. He said, I'm giving you the words to say. I hear you, you will. Listen, when I received the Ruach HaKodesh, I had received the witness. Right? There are things that time has to reveal. Right? The revelation of us as a nation being a people occurred at the same time pretty much around the world. Right? Over about 7 years ago. Right? So, this big awakening started to appear. Right? And once I received the revelation of who I was, it was a game changer. I knew it. Right? And you know what? I was like, yeah, I'm one of the people. Right? And when you knew, you still hear all kinds of teaching that's not necessarily according to knowledge. There's one brother who's teaching that Jesus or Yahusha, right, was Joseph's father. Right? And I was like, wait a minute, that don't make sense. You know, because even in the renewed covenant, you know, the Ruach HaKodesh caused Mary to conceive, not Joseph. Actually, Joseph was going to turn her away. If Joseph was the father, then why would Joseph feel the need to turn her away or put her away? Why would the angel need to talk? You know, Ruach HaKodesh said, because that's not truth. Turn away from that. So I did. Left it. You know, and there's, you know, some other people, you know. But, you know, I'm going what I understand, you know. You know, I'm still riding, you know. I'm riding with my boys, you know. Starting to feel convicted. Right? But I'm still riding. We ride, you know, go here, have a few drinks, you know, beers, go somewhere else, you know, driving, stopping, beer, stopping, drive, beer, ride. You know, it's the culture. You know, Harley Davidson culture, that's the culture. You know, you rode, found a place to stop and drink, rode somewhere else, found a place to stop and drink. Actually run into the same people, sometimes around the same spots. You know, when you get there, it's like a reunion. Hey, what's going on? What's up? You know, in the house. Yeah, you know, and after a while, I was like, I can't be doing this. So, you know, so I'm like, okay, you know, I gotta shut Saturdays down. So, you know, I shut it down on Saturdays. The dude's like, yo, man, you know, come hang out with us. What time you? I said, well, you know, I'm to Shabbat sundown. He said, well, look, man, meet up with us at sundown. I'm like, okay, bet, you know. So, you know, I go and meet with him at sundown, you know, hook up drinks, beers, you know, ride somewhere, you know. You know, because, you know, to be perfectly honest with you, I mean, you know, I was really ever a get to drunk kind of guy. You know, those couple times I was riding my bike, man, we stopped a few times and I had probably a little more beers than I needed. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is there's some things that I didn't even grab a hold of and understand that were a problem until Yahuwah, by the Ruach HaKodesh, began to reveal them to me. Right? Ruach HaKodesh revealed them to me. Because, you know, I wasn't a Christian. You know, I left the church. I wasn't a Christian. I would read and study and still spend time in the Bible. Right? But I wasn't no Christian. I left the church, you know, and that charade, you know. But, you know, there's levels to this thing that you grow in. But what you do is once you know truth, then you are obligated to that truth. So at the end of the day, right, you may not be at a place where you're going to end up being, where you begin, right? But you being a part of this witness in the Ruach HaKodesh, the Ruach HaKodesh is going to move you to a place in him that you're supposed to be. Yeah, you're going to make some mistakes. Yeah, you're going to do some things, you know, but the Ruach HaKodesh, that's why you need him. You got to come by the way of the door. You have to come by the way of the door to be Yahusha's. And only those that hear his voice are those that have come by the way of the door. So if you haven't received Yahusha HaMashiach, you haven't heard his voice. Or you heard his voice but refused to answer because you preferred the voice of someone else. Let's go where we left off. We left off, I think we only got like 5 more verses in this 10th chapter, right? Like I think it was the last 5, maybe 6 verses, right? And Yahusha, again, he's explaining to these thieves and robbers, because, they're the ones that are scrutinizing everything he says. They the ones that are upset with him because, he makes himself to be the Son of Elohiym, right? You be the Son of Elohiym. What do you say? You're God. Didn't it say in your Torah? Didn't you read? Ye are gods. You are elves. Right, you're elves because you received Yahuwah's Ruach, because that makes you his. He says here, let's start at that 36th verse. He says, and say ye of him whom the Father has sanctified and sent into the world, thou blasphemest, because I say that I am the Son of Elohiym. You call me a blasphemer because I say I'm the Son of Elohiym. Right? I'm the Son of Elohiym. He says, if I do not the works of my Father, believe me not. Listen, if what I do is not a reflection of the good of Yahuwah, then don't believe me. But if I do that which reflects Yahuwah's goodness, then believe me. Yes, Yahusha was anointed to go about to do good, to heal all those that were oppressed by Hasatan. Same thing we're supposed to do. Right? But we can't do this until we receive Yahuwah's Ruach HaKodesh in us and we become elves. See, Adam and Ava were originally elves. Hasatan lied to them, told them they weren't. Actually, he didn't tell them they weren't. He told them that Yahuwah didn't want them to be like him. Hasatan does what he does best. He has a play on words. Right? He uses words and spells and trickery. Right? Right? Because he was the singer. He was the songster. He was the man with the pipes. Right? He understood before he got the boot. He understood before he was thrown down. He understood. He was like, man, these people, I got to do something about this dominion they got, because they got dominion over me. I got to make them get that up. I got to take charge. They were mad. They didn't want to lose their seat. They weren't worshipers of Yahuwah. That's why Yahusha said, if you would have known me, if you would have known if you say you know the Father, then you would receive me. You will know me. You would identify with me. But you don't know the Father. He says, but if I do, though ye believe me, you believe not me, believe the works that ye may know, and believe that the Father's in me, and I am in him. See, and you know what? The whole idea of them knowing was diabolical. You should know they didn't want to know him know him so that he could be the savior of Israel. They wanted to know if he was the son so that they could try to put an end to his reign. Not knowing that he came to die. They can't kill him when they want to, right? But he came to die. He understood his mission, right? They needed to know. We got all intent. We for all intents and purposes, we need to know, because we want to know. Yeah, we need to know because we want to know how we gonna put it out on you, or whether or not we even should be concerned about you. You know, is you gonna be just one of these other cats that come up and pull a few bunch of people to him and start a civil uprising, and we gonna put it down? Listen to it. Unless it's Yahuwah's uprising, Right? You wasting your time because they're going to put you down. Unless it's Yahuwah's uprising, right? You're going to be put down. So you marching down the streets and the highways and all this, trying to shut stuff down, you know, shut people down. They're going to shut you down. Listen, there was this movie, in the movie Malcolm X, where Denzel Washington plays Malcolm X, and, he has everybody gather outside the police station to inquire about two brothers. Shut the police station down. Well, force the police station to do a few things in behalf of them. But at the end, they shut that down. Oh, yeah, they killed Malcolm. And they used the boule to do it. They used our people to do it. It's like they did during Herod's time, trying to kill the newborns. Herod wanted them gone. You gotta make this happen. I need you to find out. I need you to get to the high priest and the priest and the Levites and go and inquire of Yahuchanon is he a Mashiach? Because it's all around the same time. Yahuchanon might have escaped to being Mashiach, because Mashiach had to run, he had to flee. Yahuchanon, he was a priest. His mom and dad was priests. They knew that everybody should have known that. Listen, technically, the priesthood was not the tribe of Yahuda. So, Yahuchanon, the Baptist, Mercer, mom and dad was priests. Don't come in with that with my son. My son's a priest. He ain't the king of the Jews. Because he should have been dead too. Told Mary and Joseph to leave because they were going to pursue the child. Yahusha is Yahuda. They was going in and locking hold on those who were Yahudiym, that where might possibly a Mashiach, a king, be born from. But see, Elizabeth and her husband ain't had nothing to worry about like that, because they were, look, I had a son in my old age. My wife did too, right? He's a Levite. He's a little priest. He's not Yahuda. See, they just wanted to know because they needed to kill him. They had no interest in going in the door because they had already gotten in as thieves and robbers. They already broke in. And they steal in front of the people. Right? Impersonators. Right? Impersonators. They impersonating to this day. They breaking in and stealing until this day. You don't want to go according to their plans? You anti-Semitic. Semitic? How can I be anti-Semitic when I'm Semitic? I'm anti myself. I'm anti those that are like me. Right? Descendants of Shem. right? Not Japhetic, not Ashkenaz, but Shemitic. It can be anti-Shemitic. See, but that's why they're going to bow. That's why Herod didn't want to give up his seat, because he didn't want to bow to the king of the Yahudiym. He was the king of the Jews, not Jews, everybody. Yes, the Jews, everybody, but he was the Yahudiym. He was Yahuda. He says, you ought to believe me for what I do. Therefore, they sought again to take him, but he escaped. Right? Yeah, they sought to take him. They was going to stone him, picked up stones. He was going to grab him. You said, listen, no man take my life. I lay it down. He said, get away. You just can't kill me. I'm the son of Elohiym. He can't kill me either, because I'm a son of Elohiym. He says, and went the way again beyond Jordan unto the place where Yahuchanon first baptized at their abode. So he went where Yahuchanon had just first baptized. He got out. He left. He got away from him. Right? You know. If you have Yahuwah's Ruach HaKodesh, right? Because if you've been born again of the water and Ruach HaKodesh, you have the earnest of the inheritance. You've been sealed by the Ruach HaKodesh truth, Ruach HaKodesh promise. You have the seal. Ruach HaKodesh referred to Ruach HaKodesh truth, Ruach HaKodesh promise, the Ruach HaKodesh, the Ruach, you know. I know what Ruach HaKodesh. Right? So, and then the characteristics of the Ruach HaKodesh, but still Ruach HaKodesh. He said, listen, and many resorted unto him and said, John did no miracles, but all that John spake of this man is truth. Everything John Yahuchanon preached and spoke of concerning Yahusha is true. He is the son of Yahuwah. He is the Lamb of Yahuwah. He is that one that is the son of, he is the king of the Yahudiym. He's the one that's going to baptize with the Ruach HaKodesh. He said, and many believed on him. Now there. So now we're gonna go over to the 11th verse, because it deals specifically with Yahusha. It's a resurrection. Yahusha being the resurrection. See, you have to understand that everything that Yahusha taught and preached pointed to him. And it pointed to him restoring a nation to the Father. See, because of Yahushua HaMashiach, listen, right? We are assured of a resurrection. He says here. Now again, I did a whole study on the book of Yahuchanon. And if you have subscribed, you can go back and you can listen to them again, right? Whole book of Yahuchanon, right? The Basora of Yahuchanon, right? And I think I did some of the first Yahuchanon too. Well, anyway, I do whatever you against me, that's what I do. But it's in there. I try to group them together. Some of them aren't grouped yet, but, you know, try to group the early ones together. So, He says, now a certain man was sick, Lazarus, of Bethany, the town of Mary and Martha, her sister. Right? Mary and Martha, sister. Now, it was Mary which anointed Adonai with oil and wiped his feet with her hair, and whose brother Lazarus was sick. So, let's dial in on Mary real quick, right? You had Mary, the mother of Yahusha. You had Mary Magdalene. You had Mary, the sister of Martha. You had Mary, the mother of James. And you had Mary, the mother of John Mark. So Mary was a popular name. Mariah, right? Mariah or Miriam. It means, right? Miriam or Miriam is their rebellion. Their rebellion, right? And the Hebrew, right? Mariah, right? Let me see. In the Hebrew it is
Strong's H 4813. Miryam.
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 It means rebellion as well, right? The root word is
Strong's H 4805. Mary.
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 Mary means rebellion. Right? See, that's why, they took our names from us. Right? It's because the names meant something. Names followed you. Your name, every time you spoke it, right, said something. It released a frequency. They moved the supernatural. Causing those things that be not as though they were. That's why Yahuwah changed Abraham's name to Avraham. Abram to Avraham. Avraham meant the father of many nations. Every time they called his name, it was Father of many nations. Father of many nations. Everybody that was calling his name was calling those things that be not as though they were. So the name Mary means rebellion. Right? Let me see. So we understand what Mary's name is, right? And let's do Martha. Martha.
Strong's G 3136. Martha. Martha.
Martha is, she was rebellious. Right? Right? So One is rebellious, the other one was past tense. Right. So, and it was the Mary that was rebellious, which anointed Yahusha with oil and had her sins forgiven. So, she received from Yahuwah, right? Yahusha, right? She anointed his feet with oil and wiped it off with her hair. Now listen, the story is, or the chain of the events that occurred, right? Therefore his sister sent unto him, saying, Adonai, or saying, Yah, salvation. See, because you know, that should be Yahusha. Right? Should be Yahusha. Saying, Yahusha, behold, he whom thou lovest is sick. Yahusha loved Lazarus. Right? Right? Yahusha loves Lazarus, right? Lazarus.
Strong's G 2976. Lazarus.
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 Or Eleazar in the Hebrew, right? Right? Whom Alua helps. See, because every time they say Eleazar, they was prophetically speaking to a resurrection that would bring Lazarus from the dead into life. Before it happened. Right? So, whom Alua helps, right? He says, an inhabitant of Bethany, loved by Hamashiach, and raised from the dead. Right? Right? But Yahusha loved him. Right? Right, he says here, and Yahusha heard, he said, this sickness is not unto death. Right? This sickness is not unto death. See, because when you understand the nature of death, physical death is temporary. It's actually momentary in time. If you pass from death in this witness, you pass to life. Right? Right? You pass from death to life. Right? There's no absence of existence. There's no being trapped in purgatory. These doctrine of men's. It's none of that. Right? 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 You leave life, and then you go to a life. Right? See, I was thinking this morning, I was driving, right? I was like, you 70, 75 years, you promised 75 years you granted life on this eretz, right? And if Yahuwah grants favor to live longer, right? Then that's a blessing, right? But I was saying to myself, you, right? I'll be 60 in April. And technically, your word is true. Right? Should I make it to 70 years old, right? You have fulfilled a covenant promise with me. If you give me longer, then you've been extremely merciful to me. Right? Right? Because, you know, Moshe lived to be, Abraham lived to be 170, right? Yosef only lived to be like 110, I think. 109, maybe over, just 100 years old, right? Yaakov, I can't remember how long Yaakov lived. But again, you know, because Yahuwah has established it, you know, at this point, you know. So, I've lived 3/4 of my life. Right? And death is an inevitability. It's an inevitability. Right? But see, what Yahusha was saying, this is not unto death. Because Lazarus had the right relationship with Yahusha. He understood Yahusha was the way. He had Yahusha in his house several times. They were friends. He was friends with Mashiach. Right? So he was not going to experience, in his absence of physical life, anything but eternal life. Right? Let's go up. He says, and Yahusha heard that he said, heard that he said, this sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of Elohiym, that the Son of Elohiym might be glorified thereby. There's glory in this. This death that Lazarus was to experience was temporary. It wasn't a permanent thing. But in the event that he did pass from death to life, because we look at how quickly time goes. And people want to hold on to life. They're doing everything in their power to expend their life expectancy. You know, they even diabolically have, clones. There was a movie, right? There was a movie, right? And this movie, I forget what the name was called. It was about this place, this cloning place, right? And these people were clones of people who had money, right? That were in the real world. But these clones existed in this fabricated colony kind of environment that was never exposed to the outside. And it was led to believe that once they left, if they ever left outside, then they would perish. They would leave. But they were given this rite of passage if your name was called, you were given this rite of passage. But in reality, what had happened was, right, you were cloned. Right? So this actual rite of passage was the people who you were cloned for, right, needed you. Needed your body, needed your organs, needed you. So when they called your name, everybody had this big celebration because it's like, yeah, they're going to the special place where, you know, it's going to be a wonderful, beautiful, because they created this idea of this place. Oh, it's going to be wonderful, right? But in reality, it didn't exist. They were just bodies being raised as a result of being cloned and harvested, right? So, you know, there was this two couple that decided, you know what, we want to break out. And they broke out. Ended up in the real world, man. They was like, oh. And then he was able to track down his owner and learn that he was a clone. The idea is that they can transfer consciousness from one clone to another. They've been training. They've been cloning for years, right? That's why you got all these crazy glitch people. You know, all of a sudden just glitching. Like, you know, people ain't doing it on purpose. What's that name? That woman name? I seen a TikTok. Was it TikTok? It was during the some speech that what's her name was giving, the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, and Marlene Waters. She was behind her, glitching. Clone malfunction. Y'all may think it's crazy, but I'm telling you, there's just so much diabolical stuff that has happened, that are going on, that's happening. And I'm gonna tell you something. If you have Yahuwah's Ruach HaKodesh and an eye to see and an ear to hear, you know, you gonna see it. You know, and again, you know, I mean, you know, Shaquille O'Neal did it. Listen. They got one of, what's his name? Michigan, former Michigan basketball player, former Indiana Pacer. What's his name? Jalen Rose. Cold glitching. Dude's fixing his earpiece. His mic. He like this. Straight glitching. See, they're trying to extend life. They're trying to do what only Yahuwah can do. They want to live forever in this world. Right? But see, we ain't like that. See, for us, this world represents death. It represents destruction. It represents captivity. It represents everything diabolical. And for us to be passed from death to life, to be absent from the body, is to be present with Yahuwah. So, we look on death as an ally, like the patriarchs did. You know, they were able to call their sons and their daughters and say, listen, I need you to come see me. I know it's time for me to go and sleep with my fathers, right? To go and be with Yahuwah. And he would talk to them and speak blessings and cursings and pass on inheritance, whatever it was. And afterwards, he would pass. See, that's how I want to go. I mean, if I go, I kind of want to be here when Yahusha comes alive and be one of them that's transfigured, transformed, and go right into the land, working it out. That's what I want to do. But, Yahuwah's going to do what he needs to do. Either way, it's a win-win for me. It's a win-win. If he should bless me to be able to experience a resurrection, I'm good with that. Right? I'm good with it. If, right, he allows me to stay and changes me in a moment of twinkling, I'm good with that too. I'm good with whatever Yahuwah wants to do, because Yahuwah knows best. All I know is that I just got to trust his Ruach HaKodesh, and I just got to believe what he says to be true. Right? So he told the disciples, he said, listen, this sickness is not unto death. See, this sickness is a result of the glory of Elohiym. Right? The glory of Elohiym. That the Son of Yahuwah might be glorified. Right? Because for years, they've been saying, Eleazar, Elohiym helps. Y'all don't hear me, right? They've been prophetically saying his name. Eleazar. Mary, Martha. Eleazar. Elohiym helps. Right? Yahusha says to him, he says, listen, this is not unto death. Right? But that the glory of the Son, that the glory of Yahuwah, but for the glory of Yahuwah, that Yahusha, the Son of Yahuwah, might be glorified thereby. Yahuwah is going to demonstrate what a resurrection looks like. And he's going to do so through Yahushua HaMashiach. Right? Going to do it through Yahushua HaMashiach. Right? He says here, and Yahusha loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. Yahusha loved Martha, right? Mary and Lazarus. Because they kept his commandments. They loved Yahusha. They obeyed Yahusha. They received his word. They took his word and they made his word a part of who they were. Lazarus understood. Mary understood. Martha understood. Right? Listen. Verse 11, right? No, I mean, not verse 11. Verse 6. When he had heard, therefore, that he was sick, he abode 2 days. So he heard that he was sick, and he stayed 2 days longer, right? 2 days. Now, Lazarus was literally in the grave for 4 days. But Yahusha, once he heard that he was sick, stayed 2 days extra, right? In the same place where he was. Then after that, he said to the disciples, let us go to Judea, right? Now, they just came from Judea. They over where Yahuchanon was baptizing now, but, they was going back to Judea. And you know, in the 10th chapter, you know, they was looking to snatch Yahusha, but he snuck through. He just sneaked through. They went to secure him, but they couldn't because it wasn't his time. They couldn't take him because it wasn't his time. Right, so you know, they was going back. Right, so he says, his disciples said unto him, Rabbi, Master, the Pharisees and the Sadducees, right, these Jewish people, of late they sought to stone thee. I said, look, you know, we just left there. They was trying to stone you, right? And goeth thou thither again? Now, you know, they didn't hear what Yahusha was saying either at the time. Yahusha said, ain't nobody take my life. I lay it down. Look. He says, of late they sought to kill thee, to stone thee. And thou goest there this or again? And Yahusha said, there is not, he says, are there not 12 hours in the day? Right? If any man works, or any man walks in the day, he stumbles not, because he seeth the lights of this world. Yahusha said, listen, I gotta get there, because I'm the light of the world. I ain't trying to get Mary and Martha to stumble. Their brother's dead. I wasn't there. They keep my Torah and my commandments. They had to have believed that I cared for them. Is there not 12 hours in the day? I got to get to where I got to get. He says, if a man walks in the day, he stumbles not. If a man walks in the light, right, in the truth, right, he ain't going to stumble, right? Because he seeth the light of this world, because he sees the light of this world. And Yahushua was the light of this world. I mean, physically, this is a physical explanation of something spiritual. Of course, a man that walketh in the day, if there's 12 hours of day, he gonna see where he going, right? And if it becomes dark, he ain't gonna be able to see, because, you know, especially there, they ain't got no street lights and none of that. So, I mean, but it was deeper than that. Yahushua was concerned about how Mary and Martha, right, would respond, and those that were with her, that she had confidence with, that she shared Yahusha's, with no doubt Yahusha's coming. So the disciple says, Yahusha says, but if a man walks in the night, he stumbles. Right? Right? For if a man is consumed or enveloped in darkness, right? The loss of my brother, the loss of this having my experience with my brother, having him there, right? She says, but if a man walketh in the night, he stumbleth, because there is no light in him. Right? There is no light in him. Right? He didn't want Mary to stumble. He didn't want Martha to stumble. He didn't want those people to stumble, because, you know, Mary, no doubt Mary was crying. Look at you if you would have been here, you would have been here. You know, my brother would have died. My brother's dead. Everybody's like mourning with her own Mary. You should have been here. It's so dark. If you would have been here, it would have been light. Lazarus would have died. These things said he, and after that he saith unto them, our friend Lazarus sleeps. They like, he didn't sleep. Means he's in recovery. You know, his body's responding, getting the rest, building itself back up. Right? But I go that I may wake him out of his sleep. Wait a minute, who should? What you mean you gotta go wake him up? You got Mary and Martha, how come they can't wake him up? We're going all the way back to Judea, where you was threatened to be stoned to wake somebody up. Come on, man. You know, fill up the time and shoot. They be like, oh my goodness, right? He says, to wake him up out of his sleep, right? Then said his disciples, Adonai, Yahusha, if he sleeps, he do well. Why you want to wake him up if he's sleeping, right? You know, it's not an urgency. Why are we going, right? Howbeit Yahusha spake of his death, right? But they thought that he had spoken of him taking a rest and sleep, right? You should discern what they said, right? Then said Yahusha unto them plainly, Lazarus is dead. See, because you know, Yahusha is the resurrection, right? See, in Yahusha we sleep. You don't hear me. In Yahusha we sleep. See, because you know, we done came by the way of Yahusha, right? The door. And he has, in our lives, demonstrated his power in us, him leading us, him protecting us. He's been a good shepherd, right? And now, at the conclusion of our life, we leave our physical state, right, to sleep. This is a sleep. Right? Because that's what it was. It was Yahusha. Right? Death is death when it's eternal. Yeah, everybody, it's pointed out the man wants to die. Everybody's going to die. Everybody's going to physically leave this earth. Right? Everybody, unless, you know, of course, you know, you are one of those that Yahuwah takes up without having to physically see death. Or you hear when Yahusha appears and, you know, you changed. Which either way is absolutely fine with me. Right? Because I know at the end of the day, either way, this right here, it's going to change. Right? This is going to change. I don't mean necessarily the right hair. I just mean the body. The body is going to put on immortality. See, because when we die, we sleep. Our souls are nefeshes. The ruachs, you know, they sleep. They enter into a rest. Right? See the world, they don't understand that rest. So what they kind of do is to continue their life as long as we can. They can't. Make as many clones as they can. When one clone starts to wear out, they jump into another one. They got some glitching things because you can only store so much soul and mind, right, and put it into a house. And then there's issues because it glitches because it ain't natural. It ain't natural. See, Yahusha is the resurrection. Yahusha demonstrated his power over the grave. See, Yahusha had to demonstrate to Mary and Martha, and everybody was there to witness, that mourned with her, that was in darkness, because they were anticipating the light of Yahusha while it was yet day, while Lazarus was still alive. They were struggling for life, but he was yet alive. There was still light in their hearts, and they still believed that Yahusha would be able to get Lazarus up from the dead, because they knew what Yahusha has done in the past. But when death came, it was dark. Just walk around in the dark. Their hope is gone. Hope is, see, you should raise nobody from the dead. The hope is gone. You had people near sick from the near death. Servants, sons, daughters, I think. There's so much reading, man, sometimes. So, what we have here is Yahusha, right? He says here in that 15th verse, he says, "And I am glad for your sakes that I was not there." See, this is a prelude. To Yahusha demonstrating his own power over death. See, because you notice he says, "And I am glad for your sake, you 12 apostles," right? That I was not there, right? Because I'm a healer. Right? You see me lay hands on the sick. You see me cast out devils. You see me do the work. You see me open a man's eyes that's blind. You see me raise up a man who was at a pool, and you see me. You seen it, right? Seen it, right? But this raising from the dead thing, he said, listen, it's for your sake, right? Because you need to understand that the power of resurrection. He said, listen, "I was not there to the intent that ye may believe, nevertheless, let us go unto him." This is for you. But nevertheless, let's go. Let's go. Right? Thomas. Which is called Didymus. He says to the rest of the disciples, "Look, man, let us also go that we may die with him." Sheep. See, they didn't have the Ruach HaKodesh yet. They didn't even have the blood atonement yet. They had Yahusha, the fulfillment of everything before their eyes. They witnessed the demonstration of his power, and they had his authority to do the same things because he gave it to them. And devils and demons and everything else had to respond to him because he was in the earth and he already let them know, I'm sending them and they going and you're going to have to obey them. I already knew it. They needed to know that Yahusha had power over death. He says here, Thomas was like, okay, well, I guess we're going to die with him. Oh, faithless Thomas. Oh, Didymus. He says, then Yahusha came and found that he had lain in the grave for 4 days already. He'd been in the grave for 4 days. So from the time she delivered the word to Yahusha, right, to the time that Lazarus died and Yahusha remained 2 days, and the time that Yahusha took to get to Lazarus, to Judea, right, Lazarus been in the grave for 4 days, right? Now Bethany was nigh unto Jerusalem, about 15 furlongs off, and many of the Yahudiym came to Martha and Mary to comfort them concerning their brothers, because we would mourn for weeks, sometimes months at a time, right? And Martha, as soon as she heard that Yahusha was coming, went to meet him, but Mary sat in the house. Rebellion. I'm not going out to see him. My brother has died, and if he could have been here, if he would have been here, he wouldn't have. Tell you, words are names are. He says, then said Martha unto Yahusha, Adonai, my brother, if thou had been here, my brother had not died. Right? Right? But I know that even now whatsoever thou asks of Elohiym, he will give thee. She was once rebellious, but she still knew that Yahusha was the answer. She just needed to have him there. She needed to see him. Right? Right? Yahusha said unto her, thy brother shall rise again. Right? Now, right? She knew, she said out of her mouth one thing. Right? Said out of her mouth one thing, right? But she heard another thing. Because he said that you should say unto her, thy brother shall rise again, right? When she heard, Martha said unto her, I know that he shall rise in the resurrection. Right? Because you should. Taught them Torah. Taught them about the resurrection of the dead. Right? She said, I know he's going to rise in the resurrection at the last day. Because he loves you. Because we love you. We follow your commandments. We keep your word. Yahusha said unto her, I am the resurrection. I am the resurrection. See, Yahusha's the door. He's the way into the sheepfold. Only people that get into the sheepfold are those who receive the witness of Yahusha Mashiach. Right? Mary and Martha and Lazarus were in the door. They were in the sheepfold. Right? Lazarus was asleep. He was dead. 4 days. No, he was in the sheepfold. Right. She said, but I know that even now, wherefore thou wilt ask of Eloah, he will give it thee. He gonna rise again. I know he's gonna rise in the resurrection. I understand that, but he said, I am the resurrection. I'm your salvation. I have all power in the Shamayim and the Eretz. He says, listen. You said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. Now, this is a dual purpose. This is dual. Now, he's speaking in reference to a physical resurrection that Lazarus was going to undergo. But he's also speaking to the resurrection that is a definite for those who are in Yahushua Mashiach. If you believe in me, then all you have done is passed from death to life. You have literally transitioned over. You are in a place of rest. Excuse me. Now, this physical resurrection, right, is the physical resurrection of the body. Where your body is going to come together with your ruach and your spirit, your ruach and your soul, your nefesh. It's going to all come together again in the physical resurrection. Right? But you're in a rest. You sleep. You know, you lay down and you go to sleep. And what's that like? It's peaceful, unless you have nightmares. But see, and you're Yahusha's witness, having believed on him, your sleep is going to be restful. Right? You're going to see a bunch of patriarchs because your ruach, your soul, your ruach, Yahusha's resurrection. Yahusha's the resurrection of life. Yahusha's resurrection of life. Yahusha said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that received the witness, the Ruach HaKodesh, the water and the blood, in me, he that is born again of the water and the Ruach HaKodesh, he that believeth in me, he that believeth in me, though he were dead. Yes, young. See, because even this physical death is to be present with Yahuwah. Be present with Yahusha. That's the beginning of eternity. This, what we see, is temporal. Now, in that Adam and Ava, before they ascend, they will live forever in their bodies, filled with the Ruach of Yahuwah. They would have continued. Right? But death, sin, put limitations on us. It required death. Yahusha is the resurrection because when he died, he was victorious because death could not hold this righteous seed, this righteous lamb. It had authority. It was the Son of Elohiym. It took authority it took the keys of death and hell that reigned and had dominion over us. Yeah, we eternal. In this witness, we believe that we've received, we are walking eternally. We are elves. Because we received this witness. Because we received this witness. Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth on me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. Believe this? What do you mean? You said it's appointed unto man wants to die, but that's not death. In the sense that there's this finality exists. There's this finality to existence. You know, I mean, if you receive the witness of Yahusha, you have a promise, an earnest, an inheritance, right? It's laid up for you, right? Whosoever believeth on me shall never die eternally. Because every man gonna die, unless you who changes you. But every man's gonna die into the judgment. But that's second death. Hey, you want no parts of that. See, but if you're in the witness of Yahusha, that ain't even on the radar. If you receive the Ruach HaKodesh, the water and the blood, that ain't even on the radar. And listen, right? That's why. You know, I think I once said that, let me clarify something. Right. We do not continue habitually sin because Yahuwah's Ruach is in us, right? We don't, right? But there is a need to ask for forgiveness because there are times that we do, right? Because no matter how you look at it, we still in this house, this physical house, right? We still have to deal with our thoughts and our minds, right? And we still have to deal with the things that are constantly bombarding us, right? What we have is an advocate with the Father, Yahushua Mashiach, who has not only provided his blood as an atonement, he's made it possible that we don't have to offer up lambs continually. He's also made it possible for us to be able to go to him, go to the Father in his name, and find mercy to help whenever we need it. Does that mean we don't have the responsibility of renewing our minds? Does it mean we don't have the responsibility of praying and fasting? No, you have that, the much more so, right? But if we do sin, we have an advocate. We don't continue in sin, which means that we don't say, okay, I'm going to keep doing this, I'm going to keep doing this, I'm going to keep doing this, because you know what? You was forgiving me. Nah, wrong. No, you ain't washed, you ain't under the blood, you ain't in the atonement. See, Yahusha says, we who are in him cannot be plucked out of his hand. What does that mean? That means nobody can physically take us from Yahusha. No one can physically take us from Yahuwah. Right? We can, by our choices. If we do not give heed, we do not pray, we don't fast, we don't read, we don't seek Yahuwah's face, we try to continue his business as usual and get off into sin. He says, listen. You tasted the heavenly gift? Oh, shit up. You've tasted it? The power of the kingdom to come? And you turn back to renew yourself unto dead works? You totally turn away. Ain't nothing for you. Listen, man of Yah, woman of Yah, hear the word of Yahuwah. Yahusha is the resurrection and the life. Yahusha is the door. He is the shepherd to the sheep. You are in him because you believed. You've received the witness. You have been born again in the water. Ruach HaKodesh. You got to understand this. You got to walk in this. You got to keep it before you. You got to meditate on it day and night. You look. It's about to get thick. Oh yeah, Hasatan is about to get thick. Man, if y'all woman, if y'all, you better be born again in the water and Ruach HaKodesh. You better have the Ruach HaKodesh, the water and the blood. You better have the witness. Yahweh, I pray right now in the name of Yahushua Mashiach, the words you've given me to give to them, they will receive them and hear them. I pray that they would be a lamp unto their feet, a light unto their pathway. The entrance of their word would give them light. It would give understanding to the simple. Yahuwah, this is your Shabbat coming up on tomorrow. We give you praise. I pray that this word would minister to their hearts. It would minister to their hearts, Yahuwah. I pray that it would minister to their hearts. I pray that it would minister to their hearts, Yahuwah. I pray that it would minister to their hearts. Yahuwah, let the words of my mouth and meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Yahuwah, help your people to recognize that you are the door, you are the good shepherd, and you are the resurrection and the life and the light. You shined in darkness. You took the keys of death and hell. You made it possible for us to transition. Yahweh, I give you praise. In the name of Yahushua Mashiach. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, called to greatness. Woman of Yahuwah, beautifully and wonderfully made. Listen. Daughters of Zion. Daughters of Yahuwah, Alua. Listen. You are beautifully and wonderfully made. Man of Yahuwah, you are called to greatness. Warriors of Yahuwah. Yahuwah has favored you. Receive his word, his Torah, his Besorah, and be blessed. And with that, I say, listen. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Be blessed.
Torah Guardian, speaking the absolute truth. Torah Nation.